Sing hey for the bath at the close of day that washes the weary mud away. Alone is he that will not sing. Oh, water hot is a noble thing. Oh, sweet is the sound of falling rain, and the brook that leaps from hill to plain. But better than rain or rippling streams is water hot that smokes and steams. Oh, water cold we pour at need down a thirsty throat, and be glad indeed. But beer is better if we drink we lack, and water hot pour down the back.
Where's it? Alright, I'm not going to do that again. Yeah, here we are, doing a video recording for some reason or another. Apparently, when we make a blog, it's not good enough to blog. We have to vlog and plog or og, whatever the hell audio is. Anyways, this is my video chat for Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, motherfuckers! That's right. That's right. We're off the hook here. We are on about 3 hours sleep on a 12-hour day, and I just finished watching Return of the King, and, you know, let's rip this fucker apart, because as always, the Oscars got it wrong. Whichever one gets the most awards is the weakest of the franchise. You know, not to say it's not a great movie. It's fucking Lord of the Rings, people. If you haven't seen it, I know who you are, and I'm coming for you. Any case, Return of the King opens with the scene kind of from the book, kind of not from the book. It was a story told in the book, and it kind of sucked, you know, with the old Gollum backstory, and Deagle, his friend. Ooh, Deagle, poor old Deagle, getting choked to death for no reason. In any case, yeah, you know, they did this whole bit where he's like dragged underwater by the fish, and the shot, no sale. It didn't look like he was underwater, and you know, he's a small hobbit, but he's still, how do I put this diplomatically? A bigger guy, like hobbits, you know, like their food. And, yeah, just not a great scene. Of course, you know, once Gollum goes all insane and starts withering away, then you're just like, alright, here we are. It's Lord of the Rings time, baby! Yeah, and after that, movie goes right on to a great scene from the book, Frodo and Sam, you know, Sam letting Frodo sleep for the whole time, and nice little conversation there with them, you know, touch on some things from the book about how Sam is worried about Lembas for the walk home, and lack of sun altogether. And anyways, we movie steamrollers on to Saruman's last scene, which should have come a lot later. Spoiler alert. Christopher Lee bitched about this in the commentaries. In fact, this scene wasn't even in the movies. It was only in the extended cuts. Anyways, I'm running out of time, so let's just steamroller past, you know, a bunch of my notes here. Yes, I took notes. Oh, yes. So, you know, blah, blah, Gandalf and Pippin, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the whole bit with Rohan at the beginning of the movie, it didn't really sell for me. I mean, the whole drinking game with Legolas. Elves drink, despite what you may think if you haven't read the books watching the movie. They drink hard. Their liquor makes our liquor look like piss. So, you know, maybe that's the joke they were trying to do with him not getting very drunk off the beer, but, you know, yeah, some good Gimli stuff in there. And also, they didn't go back to Rohan in the books, and there's really no reason to in the movies, except they had built this really big set and they wanted to reuse it again. Except, of course, we don't really see much of it from the outside, and that's all they built. On location on their mountain out in the middle of nowhere there, you know, all of the interior shots of Rohan, that's all done in the soundstage. So really don't know why they went there when they could have cut a lot of that stuff. I'll get into it more later because For the whole series, Peter Jackson always talks about how the movie is about the ring. Doesn't like to stray from the ring, keep it about the ring. That's why we get no Tom Bombadillo, no wraiths, or no whites. Sorry, there's lots of wraiths. No whites in the first book, and Frodo and Sam kind of got a bit of a disservice in this movie. Kind of a lot of their stuff was cut, but we'll get on to that in a little bit. Of course, there's some great stuff with Gollum and Smeagol and talking to each other in their little puddle there, and finally in Return of the King, we get to see something that should have happened in the Fellowship. The sword that cut the ring from Sauron's hand finally gets its reforging, and Elrond, instead of giving it to Aragorn at the offset of his journey to Mordor and assumedly Gondor on the way, Elrond decides, hey, I'm not gonna give it to him. Then I'm gonna wait until he almost gets to Gondor, and then I'm gonna ride across half of Middle Earth to deliver this sword, because Elrond is apparently cool with that. He's got nothing better to do. Why not? What do we got else here? Good. Oh yeah, there's a great scene with Pippin and Faramir, not from the books, but kind of gives you the lighter side of Faramir. He's making a bit light of Pippin fitting into his old clothing and whatnot. Nice little scene. Where are we going here? Okay, let's just jump right into the attack on Gondor. It was just an exceptional scene, I wasn't quite sure if they were going to go there. The one scene in the book where at the offset the orcs are just catapulting the heads of all the guys they've already killed over the wall. It was just a great scene, and the whole Battle of Gondor was just really well done, right up until the end, and yeah. And that brings me to Shelob. Peter Jackson, it's me and you here. Let's just sit down and talk. So you're telling me that you think cutting Shelob and Frodo in to the battle at Helm's Deep would be anticlimactic and it wouldn't sell very well. So your solution to this is intercutting the Frodo scenes with the Battle of Gondor, which is like 100 times bigger. Waiting for an explanation there, pal. Of course, I kind of have one, because you screwed everything up when you screwed up Faramir in Two Towers. Now, I'm not one of those people that thinks that this is a whole terrible thing, but it did screw up the timeline when Faramir, instead of letting Frodo go on his way, dragged him, at least a week's journey back for Frodo walking, and probably made it faster with, horses or whatever. They drag him along, I don't know how, whatever. But so instead of letting Frodo go on his way, he takes him to this whole bloody, great big battle, and then after the ring race, almost get Frodo, he decides, oh, wow, maybe it was right all along that I should just let him go do his bloody thing. And then he lets him go. So Frodo now is like a week's walking behind where he should have been, so I guess this is why he gets to Shelob so late. But, really, buddy, Shelob was at the end of the second movie, or book. And I gotta sit through all of the first bloody 2-hour disc of the extended cut before I get to see me some Shelob? You're on notice, PJ. I will be watching every second of the Hobbit movies for similar scrubs. You're going down. I'm talking way too much here. Also, another thing with the whole Shelob bit, it's a great scene in the book where Sam finds Frodo's lifeless little corpse sitting there and assumes that he's dead, and has this great moment where he decides he has to take the One Ring for himself. And in the movie, Of course, Sam later pulls out the ring, having said that he took it. We don't see that. I mean, you literally see Sam jump away from Frodo's body when he sees the orcs' hides, and then it shows a close-up of Frodo all wrapped up in the spider's web there, and Sam hasn't ripped open to get at the ring. It's still all closed up here. There's no way Sam got the fucking ring out of there. So, what's the deal, man? Are you just tired at this point, PJ? Huh? Just not looking at continuity no more? And anyways, blah, blah, blah. Gandalf versus the Wraith. That was a great little scene there. Totally made Gandalf look like a bitch, breaking his staff and everything. I am no man from Eowyn. Another great scene from the book that was done really well in the movie. Congratulations. Good for you. Theoden's death was great, as well as Éomer's little scream to put Luke Skywalker in his place when he sees Éowyn lying there half dead in the field. And, of course, Denethor's death was turned into a cartoon. It was pretty fucking ridiculous. Thank you very much, PJ. So the guy lights himself on fire in a tomb, and then he runs, and it's all... You don't see it in the movie, but you see them walking down to the tomb. It's a level below his little castle. And then in front of his castle, there's this great big long thing that stretches out over the front of the city. And, it looks like the big freaking front of the ship there. And Theoden apparently lights himself on fire, runs out of the tomb, runs up the ramp to in front of his little castle there, then runs all the way across the courtyard past the tree, then runs all the way down to the very front of this giant thing sticking out and jumps off. How far can you run when you light yourself on fire? Kids, I didn't tell you to do this, but I would like someone to find out. Didn't hear from me. I am not culpable. Great stuff, but of course, one of the problems with the big insanity at Gondor, of course, is another little change where, see in the book, Aragorn has this great ghost army, and they kick some ass on the boats. They steal all these boats from these guys who are supposed to supplement the orcs on the field, and then Aragorn lets these ghost guys go because their duty's done. They did their job. And they did do their job. But no, Aragorn in the movie's got to make them retake the whole bloody city. Yet, Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas, and of course the Rangers aren't there, but we won't deal with that today. I don't have the time. Anyways, there's supposed to be other guys, but they're not there. So Legolas, Gimli, and Aragorn jump off this boat with this whole bloody... Excuse me. With this whole bloody ghost army behind them. And, and they actually fight for some reason. Because you can watch the ghost army even when they're fighting, and they just, pretty much walk through all these guys and dead. And then, you see them just go through the whole city. Killing every orc they see. And so why did Aragorn not just get off the boat, sit down by the river, and light a fucking pipe and have some pipeweed? Why not? I mean, there was no point in the fight after that. It was such an awesome battle that just went on and on and on, and in a good way. But then the ending is just like, okay, so this ghost army just shows up and kills everybody and everything in sight. And so, what's the point? What's the point? What is the point, man? Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna skip all of my notes right now and just because we're running out of time. Let's talk about the Scouring of the Shire. Scouring of the Shire. Oh wait, you saw the movie? You didn't read the book, so you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It's basically people's biggest complaints, which is a very valid complaint about the ending of the movie, is it's just, you see these scenes of everyone smiling and hugging, and then it fades to something else, then it fades to something else, then it fades to something else, and then Frodo, Sam, and Merry and Pippin start crying for 15 minutes as Frodo gets on the ships with the elves, and bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. And, what was supposed to happen is Frodo gets home, finds that Saruman has taken over the Shire from his very home, thank you, Sackville Bagginses, and basically him, Merry, and Pippin organize the bloody troops, and they kick some ass. They get all these big people running or dead. But the whole point of all of this is Frodo and his little assumption that he could just leave the Shire and go do all of his horrible, horrible, horrible things, his horrible quest that he hated so much that ruined his soul, and he could just come home and the party tree's still there and everything's nice and flowery and it's home again. Well, Tolkien had different plans for you, buddy. And I don't care what you say about anticlimactic Peter Jackson, because it's not. It's the point of everything. You missed the point, man. It's not anticlimactic. And yes, it goes on for like a chapter and a half in the book, but I have faith in you, my friend, that you could have done it in like 5 minutes. Okay, maybe 15 to do it right. And you know, I'm not even asking for that in the theatrical cut. You know, those swine that haven't even read the books don't deserve it. But the extended cut, my friend, you could have made each movie 16 hours if you wanted to. And I'm not an advocate for that, but I am saying you had time to include the best ending to a great, best book. There's no reason for you to cut that, buddy. Your anticlimactic shit may fly for a theatrical release, but not an extended cut release. And with that, I bid you all adieu, and have a good night, whatever. No one's going to ever see this except for Peter, so thanks a lot, Peter. You saved me from having to write and edit, so cheers, buddy. Have a good one. See you in the Shire, Hobbit, December 14th. I got my tickets, suckers. Get yours right now, because I'm telling you, the first two are going to be great. PJ waits till the third one to screw the pooch somehow. You know, the first two Lord of the Rings movies were just phenomenal, especially the first one. The first one was unfilmable, and he found a way to do the whole leaving of the Shire thing, and he just found a way to make it awesome and work. And I'm sorry I didn't have time to get into everything from The Return of the King, and not even the first two movies, but hey, you know what? It's all on you teachers for giving us too much shit to do right now. Peace. These damn webcams. How do I turn this thing off? Need some 14-year-old to do.
Oh, water's fair that leaps on high in a fountain white beneath the sky, but never did fountain sound so sweet as splashing hot water with my feet.